One of the most important preps that's also extremely boring is physical fitness. It's just not as sexy as some of the other SHTF stuff we like to talk about, like firearms or food or even bunkers. So yes, it is a boring topic, but it's extremely important because if you're not physically fit to survive an SHTF event, you will not survive it. And that is why we need to talk about it. So in this video, we're going to talk about SHTF fit, why you need to get into physical shape right now or else you'll probably die. Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper, and today we're talking about physical fitness, SHTF fit. You need to be ready to go in a survival situation, and a long-term SHTF event is going to make some people realize very quickly that they're not quite as fit as they thought they were. And this video is not to chastise anybody's fitness level. What this video is for is to try to motivate you to prioritize fitness and health to make sure that those things that are so important to the human body are in proper working order, so when everything else goes to hell, you can at least try to survive that much longer. And if you're worried about being fit enough for SHTF scenarios, then hit the subscribe button below, because this video is part of the 30 Days of Preparedness collaboration between many other YouTube channels. So I will link all the other channels that are involved with this collaboration down in the description, as well as the pinned comment, and you can check out everyone else's videos in this entire collaboration because there's some great information here in the month of September, which is the month of preparedness, so that way you can be better off for an SHTF scenario. Now, if you haven't noticed, I will be playing a small little clip down here in the bottom corner, and what that is me running a mile in 10 minutes. And now I want you to really think about something. I want this to be important, okay? Because you have to get into a routine if you're going to find yourself in a better physical shape. So what I want you to understand is that I'm showing you me running a mile in 10 minutes, which is at 6 miles an hour at a 5% incline. And the reason behind that is because if I can run a mile, you can too. But I want you to self-reflect right now and think, when's the last time you ran a mile straight? When's the last time you ran as fast as you possibly could? When's the last time you even jumped? These are things you need to really consider because we all talk about preparedness. We want to be ready for a coronal mass ejection. We want to be ready for an economic collapse. We want to be ready for the big one. But yes, we have food, we have supplies, we have gear, we have all the good stuff. Are we actually ready to run when our lives depend on it? Are we actually ready to operate in a way that's going to be efficient when it comes to being physical? Are we ready to defend ourselves from those who may be stronger than we are? This is something you really need to consider. So I'm showing you throughout the video this mile run of mine that I do every other day to make sure that all of you are aware that it is possible. And at 220 pounds and 6'3", if I can run a mile in 10 minutes, I think a lot of you probably could too if you put the work in. Now, this video is broke up into 3 different parts. It's get into routine, get in your gear, and get hungry. Now, what I'm gonna say is that getting into routine is the only way I was able to get to the point where I could run a mile straight. It didn't happen overnight. It took months of me jumping on the treadmill. It took months of me stretching. It took months of me sacrificing time and energy to get on that treadmill and really make things happen. Yes, I could go outside and run too, but there is something nice about having a treadmill and having access to the proper equipment so that way things are a little bit more metered. So if you don't have access to equipment, that might be something you need to prioritize, whether or not that's weights or whether or not that's a cardio machine of some kind or whatever it might be, okay? Now, I want to preface this whole thing by saying, if you are disabled, if you have a reason as to why you cannot be as physically fit as you want to be, maybe a health condition, then this video is obviously not targeting you and it is not meant for you to feel bad about your situation. In that scenario, you have to do what's best for your situation to be as well as prepared as you can be. So when I say that, what I mean is move to your strengths, pivot to what you're good at. Think about what you can do with your mind. Think about what you can bring to the table in the sense of organization or whatever else it might be. So I just wanted to make sure to get that out of the way because there's a lot of people who have it out of their control, who are not able to be in physical shape. So understand that especially the trolls out there who want to make sure everyone knows when they could skip a cheeseburger or two, because all of you will be here, I assume. Now, what I want to say is get into routine. This is the first part, okay? Get into routine means build out a schedule. Have something ready to go so that you know what it is you're going to be doing on a regular basis to maintain your physical fitness level, okay? And you need to include certain aspects, of course, things like cardio or strength training, but those are all things that you need to decide on for yourself. And obviously there's tons and tons of resources out there. But having a routine that you can stick to and that's reasonable is extremely important. You don't want to burn out on this whole situation, because if you do, you will quit and then you will be worthless in SHTF, right? We don't want to die, we want to stay alive and thrive, and being healthy is important to that. So find a routine that works. My routine is every other day, because if I try to do 5 days straight and 2 days off, or if I try to do every single day, or whatever it might be, I get mentally burnt out. And then eventually I skip an extra day, and eventually I don't do the thing I usually do, or eventually I give up after a certain amount of sets. It's whatever it might be. Don't do that to yourself. Find a schedule that works properly for you. It doesn't matter if somebody else is doing something 7 days a week. If it works best for you to do it 3 days a week, you'll be more successful if in 2 years you're still doing it when they quit a year ago. Okay, so just to go over something really quick, just so you guys are kind of aware of what I do. I have lost a lot of weight. I have also gotten into much better shape than I was for a long time, let's just say. And at my age, which is in the mid-30s, right? I'm not gonna give you all the details, but I feel pretty good right now, okay? And all I do, and this is just what I'm working on for right now, okay? Intermittently sprinkling in rigorous outdoor activity, but in general, every other day, I get on cardio and I run and I speed walk for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then I do strength training, which includes push-ups, which I'm getting there, and if I was to be in some kind of a boot camp, I'm sure drop and give me 46 might not do the trick, but that's where I'm at apparently right now. But either way, push-ups are amazing because you don't need equipment. The floor is always there for you. So keep that in mind. And then I do different weight training using dumbbells. And dumbbells are very, very versatile. So if you don't have a good set of dumbbells, you might want to look into that, because they are able to do things like curls, you can do lunges, you can do butterflies, you can do shoulder press. There's a million things you can do with dumbbells. So get a good set and be ready to go. And it's that simple. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing a million things that are difficult or complicated or anything like that. I'm just trying to maintain a certain level of fitness where it puts me above the rest when it comes to survival. And that's what you really have to keep in mind. It's about being able to out-survive the next person. And that's what we're trying to move towards. So the fact that I can run a mile straight when I couldn't before tells me that a lot of people probably cannot run a mile straight. And what that means to me is that I will be gone before they catch me, if that's what it comes down to. Think about it, okay? So, look, I know everybody's gonna say it. Why are you wearing such bright colors in these dang videos? It's because I thought you would like to see the brighter side of things with how negative prepping can be sometimes, okay? Also, I want you to keep in mind that, yes, my form is not always perfect. I already got it, trolls. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and get right past that, okay? So, get a routine into place. I don't care if it's 1 day a week, but if you have some way of pushing yourself and scheduling yourself to stay on track when it comes to physical fitness, it'll make a huge difference, okay? So, why is physical fitness so important? Why is everyone always talking about it? Why is everyone saying, well, oh, you got all these firearms and you're gonna get all this tactical training, but I bet you can't even walk for 20 miles with that 30-pound backpack? It's true that cardio and endurance and fortitude is extremely important in the sense of survival. You wanna be able to deal with adverse conditions at any given time. You don't wanna have to suddenly work on your ability to move quickly during an emergency. When an emergency strikes, being able to move quickly will then prove very valuable. And keep this in mind, okay? So, you ever thought about that whole theoretical situation in your mind where it's like, if I'm hanging off the edge of a cliff, can I pull myself back up? That's up to you. If I have an explosion going off down in the missile silo that I was in for some reason and I have to run up 100 flights of stairs, am I able to outrun that explosion? These are things that keep me motivated. I don't know why. So, that's the thing I wanted to say, okay? I'm just gonna say words apparently. Anyhow, the next part of this video is about get in your gear. And what I mean by that is don't just let it sit there. Don't just buy backpacks and plate carriers and all that heavy stuff that you plan on dragging around on your human body, which is not a vehicle, it's a body, and then never do it. Because the day you actually need it, the day you run out the door and you're like, let's go, it's time to put on the plate carrier and the bug out bag and probably 30 other pounds of junk, you're going to stop very quickly and you're going to be tired even quicker. So get in your gear, put your bug out bag on. Is it 65 pounds? Maybe if you are me, but can I carry a 65-pound bug out bag for a decent amount of time? Yes, I can, but not because I just let it sit there on the ground, okay? You have to get out, wear your stuff, and actually move with it, all right? So do that, or else you have to lighten the load. Understand your limitations. A man knows his limitations. I believe there's a quote like that from a Dirty Harry movie, which is what you should be watching. So keep that in mind because you have to make sure you can actually handle your equipment. Get in your gear. This plate carrier, this one right here, it's 43.4 pounds fully loaded with 3 liters of water, steel plate inserts both on the front, back, and on the sides. It also had 3 fully loaded 20-round M14 magazines in the mag carriers, the Baofeng radio, and all the goodies. We're talking 43.4 pounds. Now, yes, there's much lighter plates out there. I know that. I know, I'm working on it, I promise. But what I'm trying to say is that I can handle 43 pounds strapped to my chest if I have to. Is it gonna be fun? No. Is it something that I'm gonna wear based on the situation? Yes. Am I gonna be glad I have it on if things are really bad? Probably. But if I never wore it and I couldn't handle it, and then one day I decided to put it on and use it for whatever situation's happening, and then I literally can't even run or walk with it, what good is it? So get in your gear and make sure you can actually take care of that, all right? And yes, the floor was kind of dirty when I weighed this stupid plate carrier, but moving on, okay? All right, I'm kind of amped up, maybe because I'm drinking awesome coffee. Everyone should have coffee as part of their health and fitness plan because I'm sure doctors somewhere say that coffee is very important to health. And that's what I'm gonna tell myself until the day I die. Oh, it's so good. So, what's the third part of this video, okay? The third part of this video is simple. And this is hard though at the same time for a lot of people. And I want you to understand that this is the hardest part for me, okay? Getting up and running, getting up and lifting weights, getting out and rucking a pack around, that's just stuff to do, okay? Eating is hard to control, especially in our modern society. So the third part of this video is called Get Hungry, okay? So we have get in routine, get in your gear, and now you gotta get hungry, man. And what I'm saying is, look, you gotta really focus on your diet. You will not get as far as you can if you don't put diet into the equation. Mental health is gonna be a huge thing in SHTF, okay? And your body and your mind are connected. And if your body's not in a healthy state, your mind will have a hard time being in one as well. And in this situation we're talking about right this second, okay? Food is a big part of that. And how you feel is a big part of what you eat. So understand that when SHTF occurs and you suddenly have to swap your diet around to some crazy stuff, or you're not used to scarcity, which is really what it is that I'm dealing with right now, that is going to be very difficult. So get hungry. Not all diets are about, eating this particular item or, starving yourself or whatever it is. But do what works for you to try to at least put some limitations on yourself. Whether or not that's just cutting out soda, whether or not that's just saying I'm not gonna eat candy, or whether or not that's saying no more fast food, limitations are good for diet, regardless of how minute they might seem, okay? And right now, my limitations are based on meal prep and portioning. And that's something that my wife and I are doing together because we both are trying to become more healthy and we want to try to fix this whole issue where we're willing to eat anything that's put in front of us ever, and I will destroy your entire all-you-can-eat buffet. I guarantee you that. But calm down for a second. What I'm trying to say is that limiting your meals now will make those limited meals that are forced upon you in an SHTF situation a little easier to deal with. And right now we're dealing with caloric deficit here in this house, okay? At least the adults anyway. The kids have Rice Krispie treats. But that's what we're doing. We're portioning, we're prepping, we're making our lives easier when it comes to meals, we're making our lives healthier when it comes to meals, and we're making our nutritional balance better when it comes to meals. But this all takes time and sacrifice and planning, and that is hard to do unless you're a prepper, because wait a second, that's what we do as preppers. We prepare, which means we have to plan, and we sacrifice because we have to put energy into that planning. And that is also how fitness works and also how health works. And these are things we need to approach right now. If we see the things that are on the horizon heading in the direction that they're heading, how can you not prioritize your health or your fitness, knowing that there could be a good chance at some point in time you might have to run, or you might have to outstrong the next guy, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of things in the works right now that should concern us. And don't get caught off guard. And don't fall into that trap of, oh, well, when that time comes, I will get into shape so quick because there won't be any food and I'll be running 18 miles a day. Do not think like that. That's a terrible thought process. Be ready now so that you can be the person you know you can be when that time is required. This is what we need to do. Get SHTF fit now or die. That's how you should think about it. Because really, it's the only way to think about. I mean, where are we at? In the world right now, do you really think everything's gonna wait for you to figure out how to run a little bit faster? Do you think the world's gonna wait for you to be able to carry that bug out bag for 20 miles? Do you think the world's gonna wait for you to find out that that plate carrier is a little too heavy? No, they won't. We gotta get fit. We gotta be a little bit more healthy. It sucks, and I hate it. I love junk food, and I like being unhealthy. I want to stay up till 3 a.m., and I never want to exercise again in my life. But I'm making myself do all those things. Why? Because I want to also survive. And I really do prepare because I honestly think things are eventually going to crash. That's just where I'm at. It's hard to not feel that way these days now, is it? So, look, I hope this video helped motivate you. This wasn't supposed to be an instructional. This isn't, hey, do the Magic Prepper diet and you will look like Magic Prepper. Because if you want to look like a dad, I guess that's one way to do it. But what I will say is that I will outrun a lot of you. I will outlift a lot of you. I will outsurvive a lot of you if you don't do something now. Because you know what? That's what we have to do. We have to put ourselves ahead of everyone else, or else the mob, the golden horde, the 95% of the rest of the country, they'll be coming for you at some point. And when that time comes, what are you gonna do? Know your limitations now and understand why this is so important. So, hope this was interesting. Hope you had a good time. Make sure you check the pinned comment in the description below for all the other YouTube channels involved with the 30 Days of Preparedness collaboration. Keep in mind that if you are limited to your physical ability due to things that are outside of your control, that this video was not negative towards you. I 100% want to make sure everyone's aware of that. But I was a little fired up and I tried to be amplified in this message because sometimes we need a fire lit under our ass. And this is that kind of video because I hate physical fitness. I hate it. But you gotta do it. You gotta. So, do what you can, make do with what you have, and understand what you can accomplish on your own. And just keep in mind, if I was able to do that, okay, if it's still playing or not, I don't even know at this point, but if I was able to do that, you can definitely do it too. And without anything else to say about it, that's gonna be it for Magic Prepper.